Marlin. He's 19th in the points and has just one top 5 finish, 5th here at the Daytona 500 in February. A crew chief change before California, and Thursday, a miscommunication on the setup prevented him from completing his qualifying lap. He starts 30th today, but it's a good race in which to get back on track for Sterling. In the last 5 Pepsi 400s, he's finished outside the top 2 only once.
As the season hits halfway, the 3 team is still looking for something good to happen. Think that's something great. Dale believes he can win today. Actually, he believes he will win today because of experience and skill. In other words, Earnhardt believes he will earn it. And if that happens, well, you think those fireworks last night were something? Stick around.
And then there are those that did not qualify and thus leave disappointed. Former Daytona 500 winner Jeff Bodine felt himself short of speed, thus loaded up his QVC Ford for the long trip back to North Carolina. Newcomer Jeff Green, who forged a career best 7th place finish 2 weeks ago in California, was forced into a slower backup car after a cut rear tire damaged his primary machine on Thursday. For those drivers, this is already a 4th of July weekend to forget.
International Speedway, and today's running of the Pepsi 400 NASCAR Winston Cup race. We'll reach the halfway point of the season at the end of today's event. Right now, Jeff Gordon has a 92-point edge on Mark Martin, with the defending champion 3rd. Dale Earnhardt is 6th in the points. Jeremy Mayfield has earned his way to 10th in the point standings. The engines have just fired, and good morning, everybody. I'm Bob Jenkins along with Benny Parsons, and it's time to go racing. Now, it's expected to be a little bit cooler here today. There is a bit of a cloud cover, only about 95.
Yeah, right, only about 95 degrees. Folks, you can't believe how hot it gets inside these race cars, and what these drivers go through today, it's almost unbearable. And the racetrack, totally different than they ran in February, and they tested. Only 3 or 4 cars here tested for this race. Who knows what's going on?
We talked about a lot of potential contenders for this race. I'd like to add the name of Bill Elliott, who ran so well here in February.
Yes, he did, and told me it was the best car he ever had in Daytona. And if the caution flag had just not waved, been there at the end, he felt like he had something for those 3 Hendry cars.
And let's not count out Dale Jarrett either from the possible victory lane here. Well, Bill Elliott and Jarrett will be driving one of 20 Fords here today. 14 Chevrolets are in the field and 8 Pontiacs. Let's take a look at the starting lineup. Mike Skinner will be on the pole for the 2nd time this year here at Daytona, just a little bit slower than his February pole speed. And Dale Earnhardt has his best start since winning the pole at Watkins Glen last August. In the 2nd row, Talladega pole winner John Andretti and points leader Jeff Gordon. Jimmy Spencer has his best start of 1997, and Rusty Wallace has equaled his best start in a Pepsi 400. Billy Standridge is in his very first start here at Daytona. Michael Waltrip has finished 7th 4 times this year in Winston Cup competition. Rick Mast has his best start of 97, and Lake Speed will also start in the 10th position.
On the inside of row 6, Joe Nemechek, freshman pole in California, and Dick Trickle. This is his 20th Daytona start. Ricky Rudd is back in the 7th row. Also 14th position is Kenny Schrader. Back on the inside of the 8th row, Johnny Benson and Dale Jarrett. No 400 wins, 2 500 wins. In row 9, Bill Elliott and Mark Martin. Great row. On the inside of row 10, Hutch Trick on the outside, Bobby Labonte.
Ward Burton finished 8th in the Daytona 500 this year. Ted Musgrave just 8 points out of 10th position of the point standings. Jeff Burton will start 23, 23rd, the 1997 leader on the super speedways, and then Ernie Irvin, who won at Michigan. In the next row, we have Bobby Hamilton and Robbie Gordon back in competition. Then Kenny Wallace and Derek Cope in the next row. Going to row number 15, it's Chad Little on the inside, and 3 Daytona wins here at this track, Sterling Marlin.
Started 31st today, Jeremy Mayfield moved up to 10th in the points. On the outside, Morgan Shepherd in his first ride in the 77 car. Warren Dallenbach will start 33rd alongside DW Darrell Waltrip. Row 18, Terry Labonte, long way to go, and David Green on the outside. Row 19, Dave Marcus and Kyle Petty. Provisionals today on row 20, Ricky Craven, Brett Bodine. In the 21st row, Jerry Nadeau and Steve Grissom.
3 cars and drivers failed to make the race here this weekend, including Jeff Bodine for the first time in his career. Jeff Green also went home, as did Loy Allen in the number 91 car. As far as the race analysis is concerned, the event record is 173.4, set by Bobby Allison back in 1980. Will go 50 to 55 laps before they have to come in for a fuel stop, and the purse here exceeds $1.6 million. We have onboard cameras throughout the field, including one riding with Ricky Craven in the Budweiser car.
There we see Ricky Craven as he shifts the thing, make sure the transmission is going to work correctly. Also, we ride along with Robbie Gordon, of course, like Chevrolet. We see his hand already out the window trying to get some fresh air inside. And Mark Martin of Valvoline Ford, as we watch Mark getting ready to go. There's Bill Elliott, McDonald's car. Checks the rearview mirror, make sure everything is okay. There's Rick Mast, the Remington Ford. Great qualifying start, great qualifying run, 9th starter today. And Michael Walsh with the Citgo car. And you see he started outside of row 4.
And finally, Rusty Wallace has our final onboard camera as he has a great start for this 400-mile race, as traditional as firecrackers on 4th of July weekend. And we're just about set to go as the field is over between turns 3 and 4. Childress team up front on the front row. Mike Skinner flanked by Dale Earnhardt trying to win that end that long winless streak.
And today, Bob, the 3-car has, I think, as good a chance as he's had all year long. Finished second in Talladega, the Winston 500, so we know his car runs awfully well on the restricted play races. This could be his day.
Dave Despain talked with him on NASCAR today about 20-25 minutes ago, and when Dale Earnhardt doesn't say much, it means he is focused, and he had very little to say today. All right, the pace car pulls off. A full crowd here at Daytona International Speedway. We welcome you. Sit back, relax, have a great 4th of July weekend as the Pepsi 400 gets underway. Got a slow start when they came down to get the flag, but he is now pulled even with John Andretti as Mike Skinner has led the first lap, and then they're 2 by 2.
That's Jeff Gordon on the outside with John Andretti. Andretti in the red and white car. Jeff Gordon, the rainbow-colored car.
Down the backstretch into turn number 3. Dale Jarrett, Mark Martin, and Bill Elliott all making moves.
And now we see the Childress cars hooking up. Skinner and Earnhardt.
On board with Mark Martin.
That's Billy Standards on the outside of the 88 car. Right along with Rusty Wallace and John Andretti will take the lead. There goes Jeff Gordon on the outside.
The 41 car of Steve Grissom, who started on the outside of the front row for the Daytona 500, slowed here on the main straightaway, and he is continuing to slow as they go into the first and second turns.
Jeff Gordon on the outside, hooked up with Michael Walter, trying to work his way to the front.
John Andretti has led only 3 races this year. He led at Pocono, also at Talladega. Now he adds the Pepsi 400 at Daytona to that list. And look at Jeff Gordon come along on the outside, moving beside Skinner. enough. He wants to lead and pick up the 5 bonus points.
Look at the power that Jeff Gordon showed in going by or trying to get by the 98 car, although he hasn't been able to do it so far.
Gordon and Andretti go through the corner, wheel to wheel. Now Jeff inches ahead just a little bit, but Andretti comes back. And look at the car.
These cars hit the bumps. It's hard to tell where the cars are going.
They're 2 by 2 all the way, just like the start of the race. They have changed positions, but they're still 2 by 2 all the way back.
And Jeff Gordon did, in fact, lead that lap. And Andretti now goes back to the front.
We got Andretti in a Ford. Gordon and Earnhardt are in Chevrolets. Michael Waltrip is on the outside of the 31 car of Mike Skinner. Lake Speed and Rusty Wallace are running side by side.
As the cars go by, we're going to try to check the speeds of those automobiles, and we can see 187.
187 all the way back. The fastest lap was by the leader, John Andretti, at 187.6. John Kernan, what's wrong with Steve Grissom?
Bobby has pulled his Monte Carlo behind the wall. I heard him go by just a few laps ago, and he sounded like he was only running on about 5 or 6 cylinders. That's what he has told the team. So he's pulled it into the garage area. The crew going to work under the hood right now, trying to find out which cylinder might be the dead one. We'll have to wait and see if they can fix it and get him back out. But right now, it doesn't look too good.
Jimmy Spencer with a bold move down the backstretch. Steve Grissom started second here in February. Had to take a provisional to get into this race, and things have gone wrong here in the early going. 3 wide at the line.
We saw Jimmy Spencer pass Mike Skinner 3 wide. Skinner said, I will repay that favor. And he goes 3 wide in the trial to pass Jimmy Spencer back. Rusty Wallace looks up in the mirror, and all he can see is the 31 car of Mike Skinner.
So it's John Andretti leading Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt, Rusty Wallace, and Mike Skinner. As we have begun 6 laps completed, the Pepsi 400. Back in a moment. Back up front, we have 5 cars that are running nose to tail and pulling away from the field. The 88 machine of Dale Jarrett, the car on the move. A couple of other notes. The 41 of Steve Grissom is back in the race. Sterling Marlin had to pit for a flat left front.
Dale Jarrett started 16th and has worked his way up to 6th place. Tells me he's going to be a factor before the day is over.
So strong at Daytona. 2 times a winner in the Daytona 500. But as far as Sterling Marlin is concerned, well, more problems for that machine.
There was just a moment ago coming in the pits with the left front tire flat. John Kernan, what happened to the tire?
What I'm told by the team, Benny, as you can get a look at the tire right here, or at least what is left of it, he ran over something out on the track, cut it down, it came apart, and you can see this flapped around. It didn't do a whole lot of damage, but it did do some significant damage to the left front, and they had to pull that out. It's still a little bit buckled, the left front fender, so that could affect the aerodynamics and the handling on his car. We'll have to keep an eye on him, but he has lost a lap.
You remember last year in this race, Sterling had ignition problems, overcame them, and drove to victory. We won't count him out yet, but he has lost a lap. 5 cars now have pulled out to single file formation led by John Andretti, also Earnhardt, Wallace, Michael Waltrip, and Jeff Gordon.
John Andretti, the 98 car, the RCA car, had a very fast race car here in February, but he never got that track position to get up front. Today, he's up front, and the crew does their job. I think they will stay there all day long.
John Andretti looking for his first win in NASCAR Winston Cup competition. Here's the Napa Field summary showing you where everybody's running at the moment with the numbers in parentheses, the place where they started. And Earnhardt loses a few positions. And look at Dale Jarrett on the outside of the racetrack. He's got Mike Skinner with him, and they just draft on by Earnhardt.
Well, they tried to anyway. Skinner and Jarrett are so very close, and Earnhardt squeezed in between the 31 car of Skinner and Jimmy Spencer.
on the outside of the racetrack, and Mark Martin.
Martin's on the inside, Elliott on the outside, and Lake Speed's in the middle.
And Ken Schrader is about to be, although Schrader now pulls away a little. And look at Lake Speed, has to back out of the throttle just a little, and with that, loses several positions.
That's exactly right. It shows you exactly how important it is to keep your foot on the accelerator. Lake Speed had to back out just a little bit and lost about 6 spots.
The 75 car running there on the left of your screen has a little bit different paint job this weekend with Rick Mast behind the wheel. They're pushing their Strand fishing line instead of Remington, and so that's why the different color on the Mast car. Ooh, maybe some contact there between Cove and Irvin as they came off the corner. Jeff Gordon now is making another move. He's up there on the high side of the racetrack. That's Michael Waltrip down below him. They're trying to catch up to Rusty Wallace and John Andretti.
Michael Waltrip moves down. He has some help from the pole sitter, Mike Skinner, as he tries to fight back. He also the cars on the outside.
Down in the pit area and doesn't seem to be all that worried at the moment.
You see Mark Martin down on the inside, still continues to work his way forward. Goes by the pole sitter, Mike Skinner, now trying to get by Spencer.
And let's not count out Ken Schrader, who is running very well here in the early stages in that 33 machine.
See Schrader. Schrader is running higher, running a higher line all the way around the racetrack than most of these other drivers. If he can get that working, it may work to his advantage later on in the day.
On board with Mark Martin. There you see Ken to the right of Mark as they come back to past the packed grandstand here at Daytona. In excess of 200 miles an hour or close to it.
And you can hear Mark Martin's engine. He never backed off the accelerator. Here in Daytona with the 31-degree banks, you put the accelerator on the floor and hold it there all day long. Mike Skinner goes down on the inside of Schrader.
Look how high Schrader is running, as you pointed out. Much higher than everybody else, almost 2 lines higher.
And he loses a spot. He loses the spot because Skinner just goes right by and throws it in right on the back bumper of Mark Martin.
The draft just sucking him right up behind Mark Martin. Now, Mark to the inside of Michael Waltrip, way below that white line before they got to turn 1.
Man, Martin got a great run and just blew by Michael Waltrip. Now, where's Skinner? Remember, he was behind Mark just a moment ago. He's not there now. And here comes Mark. He still tries to work his way on the inside of Spencer. Now Elliott's going 3 abreast.
Along with Ward Burton down on the bottom side of the racetrack. That's Ricky Rudd working up high in the 10 car along with Jeff Burton in 99. Still 3-1 all the way around the corner.
Oh, Schrader in the wall.
But saves it. Ward Burton got together with Kenny Schrader, forcing Schrader up into the wall, but a nice save, and everything is okay. We hope.
We hope, yes. Not a lot of concrete dust flew, so I don't think get it to her. Watch, folks, this is real time as Schrader goes up, just brushes the wall. If he'd hit it too hard, we'd have seen a cloud of concrete. We did not, so I think the car will probably be okay.
And so it still remains up front. John Andretti leading Rusty Wallace, Jeff Gordon, Dale Jarrett, and Jimmy Spencer. Those are your top 5 in the Pepsi 400 from Daytona. We'll be right back. Happy and safe 4th of July weekend to everybody. We're glad you could join us for the running of the Pepsi 400 here at Daytona International Speedway. We're 21 laps into this race. Mark Martin has moved up to 6th position. He started 18th. By the first lap was up to 14th, so he gained 4 positions in lap number 1. He's racing alongside Michael Waltrip now for that 6th position.
And Mark Martin is telling his crew that his chassis is not right on the car. They need to do some work when he makes that pit stop. Now we're riding along with Bill Elliott as he looks back at Dale Earnhardt. We see he started 17th and he's worked his way up to 7th spot.
Well, our best to Michael Feinberg, who's celebrating a birthday yesterday, born on the 4th of July. How about that?
Our boss at ESPN had a son born there. Congratulations, Rich.
Watching with his wife in the hospital. Boy, we hope we're doing a good job. Let us know if not.
And now we see Earnhardt side by side with Michael Waltrip, and we see just that when those cars run side by side, how the cars in front drive away from them.
Here's Bill Elliott moving to the inside of Mark Martin.
And takes a spot away with ease.
Now Michael Waltrip alongside Dale Earnhardt. Jeff Gordon trying to get around second place Rusty Wallace.
And Rusty said, it's my spot and I want to keep it. And Jimmy Spencer, the 23 car, just lurking back there. Yeah, Jeff Gordon got a sandwich between the Fords there, don't they, Bob? The only Chevrolet in the top 9 right now.
Just Benny and me in the booth here this weekend. Ned has other responsibilities with CBS and so isn't with us today. We look forward to having him in the booth with us once again.
I'm sorry, Dale Earnhardt is also in 8th spot, another Chevrolet. Bill Weber?
Yeah, Benny, just watching Michael Waltrip, who's off to a good start. He had a good qualifying effort here and usually runs well at these restrictor plate tracks. Just hasn't posted the finishes you'd really want to see. Although we did have a top 10 finish here a year ago. I talked to his crew. I said, has he said anything about the car? They said he has not said a word since the race started. But that's a good thing. It means Michael's having fun. And fun in Daytona, the 4th of July weekend, that's very important.
There you can see on our Napa Field summary, Ward Burton from 21st to 12th. Strickland has moved up several positions.
Mark Martin, after he made that big run, is starting to fall back. So that chassis problem he was talking about obviously is rearing its ugly head.
From Mark Martin's rear bumper, looking back on Waltrip, and there is Ken Schrader. Schrader apparently was not damaged at all during that little bump with the wall up there coming out of turn 4.
And Jimmy Spencer passed Jeff Gordon on the outside, took over the 3rd spot. Now he's hung on the inside with a couple of Fords of Jared and Elliott going by on the outside.
So Jeff Gordon goes from 3rd all the way back to at least 5th or 6th and maybe 4th, depending upon when he can get back in line. More on Dale Earnhardt from Jerry Punch.
Well, Bob, drivers don't usually talk too much during the green flag conditions here in Daytona. And Earnhardt is the man of few words anyway. And the only thing he has said since the green flag wave was tight off, indicating the car is very, very tight coming off turn 4 and off turn 2. They plan if the track doesn't get slippery and the car comes to them, they may make an air pressure adjustment and take some wedge out on their first pit stop.
Jeff Gordon was able to get back in line. You saw there looked like for a while that he wasn't going to be able to, but he's back in line now as Larry McReynolds, Dale Earnhardt's crew chief, looks on.
Tell you what, this is typical Daytona. Look how high these cars are running on the racetrack, going up, trying to find some grip right on the bottom of the racetrack. These cars obviously not handling well. If they were, they'd be on the bottom of the racetrack down next to that white line.
And it could be because we have cloud cover today, and we really haven't had much of a cloud cover in the last 2 days, and so maybe everybody is set up for a hot and slick racetrack.
That's probably one reason the cars are so tight today. A lot of the guys are complaining about pushing or being tight.
Spencer now deciding to make a move. He moves to the low side of the track and brings Michael Waltrip with him. As they try to draft by Bill Elliott.
22 car is trying to work his way to the front.
That's the highest running Pontiac in the field at the moment. Ward Burton in 11th.
There's Earnhardt on the very bottom of the racetrack going by Spencer.
John Kernan has a report on the 31 car of Skinner, our pole sitter. John?
Well, Bob, while everybody, almost everyone out there on the racetrack complaining about being tight, Skinner is just the opposite. His car is loose. Talked to the crew, and they said what they plan to do possibly the first pit stop, it might make an air pressure adjustment, a chassis adjustment. They're even toying with the idea of bumping up the spoiler about a half degree to get a little more downforce to clamp the rear end as he goes through the corners.
Falling back to 12th position at the moment. Billy Standridge having a good run here at Daytona in his first race at this track.
Standridge is currently in 13th position in Haynes Ford.
John Andretti continues to lead. And we have the Fords all stacked up together trying to draft away. There are your top 5 after 28 laps at Daytona. We'll be right back. The Pepsi 400 live at Daytona International Speedway as we reach the halfway point of the 1997 NASCAR Winston Cup season. 32 laps completed. John Andretti is at the front of the field.
And Dale Earnhardt went 3 abreast in turn 1 to get by Ward Burton.
And Ward is on the move. He started back in 21st position, and he's right up there fighting for the top 10 spot.
And you see Billy Standridge slow, and they're going to crash. There goes Spencer around. Cars dodging.
Where? Right in front. Come high if you can. Go high.
Wow.
Are we going to get through with only one car involved? Unbelievable.
Wow. Is that big or what? No, we see Chad Little has some damage to the front of the John Deere Pontiac. Oh, I thought one car was going to be a one-car race.
Man, oh man. Well, the caution comes out for the first time as trouble erupts on the backstretch. And Skinner has some damage, too.
Oh, yes, he does. And he comes directly into the pits, which was wise.
Well, there were a lot of lucky drivers, though, who were following Jimmy Spencer and could have been involved in that incident. Here's John Kernan.
Mike Skinner pulled onto pit road coming directly down. A lot of damage, significant damage to the right front fender, and the front air dam is pushed in. Tire is flat on the right front, and this is really going to mess this car up. But Skinner, the crew working valiantly here on pit road, trying to get the tire on. They'll send him back out and come in and see if they can fix it. But I'm telling you what, from the looks of the damage of this front nose, this car will not run as fast as it had earlier in the race.
Spencer got out of the car. He's back in it now. It's just being pushed to pit road. Let's take a look at what happened.
Let me see if we can see one there. We see Billy Standridge coming off the corner of the 78 car. He comes off, goes up. He hits the wall. Hits it pretty good, as a matter of fact. And all these cars behind took evasive action. But meanwhile, Jimmy Spencer, right in front of this, is crashing at the same time.
Yep.
So, and what happened on that deal, I don't know. We see Schrader, Michael Walter, and Jeff Gordon barely gets by.
Ward Burton takes to the infield to escape damage, and he did. So it looks like that Skinner, Spencer, and Chad Little, the only 3 cars involved in the incident, besides Standridge, who was really involved in a separate incident. There is Little coming through.
Now, he might have gotten involved in the Billy Standridge crash. And you're in all the cars coming down pit road. All the cars are on the lead lap, and that's all except 3 or 4 of them. Jerry Punch?
65 miles an hour. John Andretti just told Tony Furr the car is absolutely perfect. Do nothing whatsoever. Put 4 tires on. Fill it full of fuel. How about up in Jeff Gordon's pit, Bill?
Same story, Jerry. No changes. 4 tires, fuel. Ray Evernham said, make sure you get that grill good and clean. Gordon has his right side tires on, getting his left. Brand new race car. Andretti is out of the pits. Gordon is down. He's coming the back. Michael Walter right in front of him. Airtight. And they almost hit the 2498.
There was some contact there between Andretti and Gordon.
There was some contact, and these cars can't stand much contact. You see Jeff Burton back there smoking the right rear tire, and Bill Elliott was the guy that won the race off pit road. He will take the lead in McDonald's Ford.
Here comes everybody else off pit road while Jimmy Spencer has arrived from his incident back into the back stretch. And the 25 car of Ricky Craven, it appears, is being pushed behind the wall. So the first caution is out here with 34 laps complete in the Pepsi 400. Welcome back to Daytona and the Pepsi 400. We are under caution for the first time due to an incident on the backstretch involving Jimmy Spencer and others. Let's analyze this thing and see if we can determine exactly what happened.
Well, here's Billy Standers. Here's the car. He's going to hit the wall. But now right in front, look right in front, watch right here. That's Mike Skinner. This car is Skinner. This is Spencer. What's going to happen, I would speculate that Skinner's going to try to squeeze into that hole. When he does, he touches the left front fender of Jimmy Spencer's car and puts his car into the outside retaining wall with the right front. And there we see Spencer and Skinner sliding down the backstretch. And I would guess that someone ran in the back of Chad Little and turned him in the wall as they're all trying to stop to avoid this crash. And there we see Chad Little with some damage to the front of his car.
Mark Martin drove through the whole mess. We'll take a look at it from his perspective.
There we see Billy Standers brushing the wall off turn 2. All of a sudden, Martin sees all and starts waving to the people behind him. Hey, slow down, slow down. And all of a sudden, the cars just slide right across the racetrack in front of him. He puts it in third gear and drives on.
Then everybody came into the pits and watched the race off pit road.
Check this out. The scramble off pit road. Jimmy Cox, he's out of harm's way. He's over behind the wall, holding up that green sign that says go. Now watch this. Watch the 24 car. He's going to hit the 21 car with his right front. No, I'm sorry, it's
98.
the 98 car. He hits him with the right front. I wonder what kind of damage that he has, and he can't make a pit stop because he loses too much track position.
Doesn't take much to incur some damage. John Kernan, what's wrong with Ricky Craven?
Well, Bob, during that melee out there on the backstretch, a rotor broke off of someone's car. It flew in right through this right there into the radiator, broke the radiator, so Ricky had to pull it behind the wall. They've had to replace the radiator. Let's go to Dr. Jerry Punch.
Well, Dale Earnhardt has a hole, about a 2 by 3 inch hole in the left front bumper. It's actually just to the left of the where you would normally see the headlight there in the front of the Goodwrench Chevrolet. There's a small hole. They're suspecting it may have been upon impact with Bill Elliott early in the day, but there is a hole just to the left of where it says Monte Carlo there on the left front of the car, where it's indented back in there. By the way, during his pit stop, there's the hole. You see as the car comes closer, you see that small hole in the front bumper area. They did take a rubber out of the right front of the car number 3, and now you get a better shot of that hole. 2 by 3 inches in the left front of the Goodwrench car. Took a rubber out of the right front, made an air pressure adjustment to try to loosen the 3 car up so it can get it to turn in the corner.
Here's the pit summary. John Andretti will line up second. He was first when he came in for a pit stop. Rusty Wallace from second to fifth. Jarrett from third to 12th. Bill Elliott picks up 3 positions. He's the leader as we're about to go back to green. And Ken Schrader lost 1 position from 5th to 6th.
Yep. You see, the 75 car had to go the end of the line because his crew, a tire was loose on pit road. And the penalty got to go back to the end of the longest line. Bill Weber, how about the right front fender on Jeff Gordon's car?
Well, Benny, they did make contact down there. Ray Evernham said they're going to watch these next 2 laps as the green comes back out to see how the car handles. They don't think the damage is too severe, but they're going to find out when these cars get back up to speed.
And so Bill Elliott leads the charge down into turn number 1. That's Sterling Marlin to the inside. He's trying to get the lap back, and Dale Earnhardt has already picked up about 3 spots in a quarter of a lap.
Ken Schrader is trying to get by the 33 car. Meanwhile, Sterling Marlin trying his best to get a lap back, but so far not successful. And here comes Andretti down to the inside and goes by Bill Elliott.
Boy, that car is very strong for John Andretti. He led before the caution, and now he takes the lead as we go back to green. When they come down, Andretti will lead the lap with Bill Elliott in second position, then Michael Waltrip, Jeff Gordon, and then Rusty Wallace. Look at Dale Jarrett trying to get around Sterling Marlin.
And Jimmy Spencer a lap down, but look, he's still got a very good race car.
Yes, he is. He's very quick over the backstretch. Some damage to the car. There, the top 10. Ricky Craven returns to the racetrack.
And Dale Jarrett, the 88 car, still can't get by Sterling Marlin. Marlin, a lap car. Now these cars have on fresh tires to see what kind of speed they're running. And here comes Earnhardt.
And Kenny Wallace coming along behind him. There you can see that the fastest speed that time was Rusty Wallace at 188.273. Now compare that. We noticed last lap here in our computer that the first lap that they went back from green, 166, 20-mile-an-hour increase.
Yes. As these tires get some laps on them, they will slow down to probably 184 miles per hour. They'll slow down about 1 second from now, the start of a run to the end of a run.
John Kernan with the pole sitter, Mike Skinner.
Mike Screw's blinking on his car behind pit wall. Mike, you're out right now. No chance of winning this race. You're going to try and get it put back in, but what happened?
Well, we're going to get back out there and get as many Winston Cup points as we can get. And I guess you'd have to really look at the film. You know, I think I got wrecked from behind.
There you hear the comments. Mike Skinner explaining what happened. Let's go to Dr. Jerry Punch.
This caution, a downer for Skinner, but it may have been a plus for Earnhardt. Maybe Dale Earnhardt's luck is changing. Just as the caution came out, Earnhardt radioed, I think I've got a problem. Indeed, he did. Take a look at the right rear tire. He had about a 2-inch slice. The tire was going down. He would have had to pit and lost a lap, but the caution came out and saved him. He is now on the lead lap, still hoping for that win today.
And still very much in contention. He's running in third position now. Is it fourth? Fourth spot. No, make that fifth position. No, fourth.
It changes so fast, it's hard to keep up.
Now, Sterling Marlin there, the fourth car in line, is a lap down, so Earnhardt is in fourth spot. 41 laps completed, 119 to go in the Pepsi 400 from Daytona. John Andretti leading the charge here. Back with more in just a moment. Well, anything to keep cool here in the Florida sunshine. 97 degrees here, the highest ever at Daytona this time of year. A Hendrick Motorsports fan is cooling himself off. There are the top 5 being led by John Andretti.
As we talked about, track position so critical now. If this thing goes green flag or couple stops, pit crew is going to come into play. John Andretti, Tony Furr, and his guys did a great stop the first time.
Ernie Irvin is beginning to show some strength here. He is running alongside Michael Waltrip. Meanwhile, Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace are side by side.
Earnhardt taking over that third spot. Bomb Rusty. Jeff Gordon trying to follow. And he will. Rusty Wallace goes from third to fifth.
And will now have the chance to slide up back in the drafting line.
Boy, these cars really bounce along, don't they?
Oh, I'm telling you, they do. Here's another Napa field summary for you. There's Ernie Irvin in 8th position, up from a 23rd place start, and Ted Musgrave appears in the top 10.
Kenny Wallace, 13th, started 27th.
Gordon also moving up. Oh!
Elliott and Earnhardt make some contact. This is a battle for second spot.
We got Chevys on the high line and Fords on the low side.
Meanwhile, Sterling Marlin still will not give up, trying his best. Get back to the front, hoping to get a lap back, and here comes Spencer.
Spencer makes it 3 wide with Ward Burton in the middle and Jarrett on the outside. Well, there's one thing that Jimmy Spencer won't do, and that's give up.
Yeah, remember when the Russian space station Mir had that problem? The satellite hit it or something? The Daytona News Journal ran a headline and said that told about the crash, and in parentheses said, and it wasn't even Jimmy Spencer's fault.
And you can kid with Jimmy Spencer because he takes it so well. Let's take a look at what happened a lap ago between Bill Elliott and Dale Earnhardt.
Battle for second spot. Elliott comes up and Earnhardt comes down. They hit for the same spot at the same time and said, oops, this is not going to work.
Then from Rusty Wallace's perspective.
Wow. If Rusty backed off the gas, I think that would have been.
That's got to stop your heart as you see two cars bump in front of you.
And now Sterling Marlin has worked his way back up to the third position. He is not running third on the racetrack. He's a lap down, but in line, he's third. Good chance to get a lap back.
He's in 36th position, one lap down, 3 wide once again through the corner, all the way through.
And look on the pylon, you see Robert Gordon in 40th spot.
A remarkable move by Robbie Gordon.
On the restart, he was 38th.
Yep. He was 18th on the restart, which was on lap 38. And look at the positions that he has gained since then. 8 spots up to 10th position right now. And Jeff Gordon is a bit hung out on the high side of the racetrack.
Now we put Bill Elliott back in 4th spot, Michael in 5th.
Warren Burton makes a move to the outside, and the MB&A Pontiac running well. There gets Gordon now with Dale Jarrett.
Well, there's Ernie in 28 and Dale Jarrett teammates. Both those cars owned by Robert Yates Racing. They're not able to work together, work their way to the front.
Here's an on-zone, on-track interval. Look at John Andretti in his laps, 48.0 and a 48.9 on lap 47. The purpose of the graphic is to show you that Robbie Gordon in 9th position has closed in by almost a full second.
A full second. You see right now the 40 car of Gordon and Schrader, the 33, took up. Schrader running that high line all day long. He's been up there.
And remember, he bumped the wall coming off the race, but it apparently has not affected at all the running of the car. We got Ernie Irvin and Mark Martin running side by side. Jeremy Mayfield and Jeff Burton side by side.
Bill Weber, what's up for Mark Martin?
Well, first of all, for Mark Martin, on that pit stop, Steve Neal told me 3 rounds of wedge out of the car, and they dropped the air pressure half a pound, hoping to help improve the handle on Mark's car. Now, in that last incident on the backstretch, one guy that really got out lucky was Ricky Rudd. His right front tire was cut severely when he ran over debris at speed. Rudd was able to limp back here and get back out on the track okay. He was 13th when the caution came out and only lost 3 positions. He lost those when he was blocked in by the 42. You hear us talk about the interliner a lot? You can see that pretty handily right here. It is still fully inflated, and that helps keep Rudd safe and get back to pit road.
Both Rudd and Dale Earnhardt were benefited in a way from that caution that we had a few laps ago when Jimmy Spencer got sideways back in the backstretch. Ricky Rudd started 13th, currently 17th, but is running well. And we're trying to see whether this group will be able to catch up with the leaders. The first 6 or 7 running side, or rather nose to tail, while the others battle for position side by side. John Andretti, the leader of this race, with Dale Earnhardt running in 2nd spot and Rusty Wallace in 3rd. We'll be right back. Bob Jenkins, Benny Parsons, Jerry Punch, Bill Weber, John Kernan back at Daytona for the Pepsi 400 NASCAR Winston Cup race. 54 laps into this 160-lap event. John Andretti leads. Earnhardt now has moved to 2nd, passing Rusty Wallace.
And the 4-car Sterling Marlin is a lap down, had a flat tire early on. Had to make a green flag pit stop.
Going into this race, John Andretti had led 20 laps this season. He led 19 at Talladega, and he led 1 lap in the Pocono 500. And he has led 50 laps today, so he has a career record going
If he can do it, that would mean trouble.
Michael Waltrip is also running the low line below Bill Elliott. Now Ward gets back in the drafting line. Not yet.
He and Earnhardt almost made contact going in the corner. Now Schrader's on the bottom of the racetrack. I think that's the first time we've seen the 33 car today down there.
Top of the racetrack.
And he's losing spots. He's losing spots. Does he have a flat tire? He could get a run. Elliott has a problem.
Elliott drops back, loses several positions.
Could be a reason he's up that high on the racetrack.
Yep. Everybody going around him.
Bill Weber.
Could be an engine problem on the 94. Bill has told his crew it is missing. It is missing. They're scrambling down here on pit road. We'll get an update.
Well, all you can do is write it out at this point and watch everybody go by you.
Tough break for Bill Elliott.
There's Terry Labonte to his left. The line, let's see who was best that time. Looks like that 185.636 by Michael Waltrip.
28 car, 185.5.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Bob. Bill Elliott down in about 23rd spot, 177.2. So obviously something amiss on that car.
We'll compare that lap with this one. We'll do it again at the line. John Andretti with a 185.002. That lap is this time as they come off the corner. A little bit faster. And Ward Burton was the quickest that time.
And Ricky Rudd back in 16th spot, 186.594.
Sterling Marlin is running right with these guys, still trying to get that lap back. He is running right behind the leader, John Andretti. Lap down in 36th position, but trying to get ahead of Andretti.
This is Rusty Wallace. He's the second place car, looking back at Earnhardt, the third place.
Back here. He's out of the top 10. Did he have some damage with that incident with Andretti on pit road?
He does have that little bit of damage, Bob, but Ray Evernham told me that's not affecting the car. It's just when Jeff gets trapped back in traffic, which is what has happened now. There's so much turbulence, it's going to be very difficult for these guys back in the pack to work their way back up to the front today. You have that normally slick track that we have here in July. The turbulence on the track, extremely difficult to handle today. So the guys up front are running in that cleaner air, enabling them to pull away. The guys that are just a tick off the pace are back there not only fighting to get up front, but fighting to get through that turbulent air.
Since the restart, he has fallen from 4th back to 11th, talking about Jeff Gordon.
It's Gary Cope in front of him and Ricky Rudd behind him. Cope in 11th spot now. And there's the distance up to the leader, John Andretti.
Overhead shots are courtesy of the Pennzoil Copter Cam, flying high overhead Daytona International Speedway for our coverage today of the Pepsi 400 on a very warm morning and early afternoon. Dale Earnhardt goes to the inside, tries to take second place away from Rusty Wallace.
And that's how close they're running at 185, 187 miles per hour. And Rusty loses a spot. So 22. This could rob the third spot.
For sure. Place your bet. Well, Ward gets him.
All of a sudden, Rusty Wallace is having some struggling. Rusty is struggling. I don't know if it's hung out in the draft or all of a sudden the car is just going away.
Both Ward and Kenny Schrader were able to get by him. Now here comes Michael Waltrip and the 28 of Irvin.
Watching he goes to the corner. Rusty just cannot get the car in the corner. Something wrong with that Miller Lite car.
No question about it. He's fallen from second position way back to seventh and maybe going even further. John Andretti, who continues to lead this race.
Well, Bob, a moment ago, John radioed crew chief Tony First that the car is absolutely perfect. This morning, Tony saw how overcast it was going to be. In fact, it was considerably cooler, and he made a late call. They changed both front shocks to free the car up, and right now, John said a moment ago, hey, Tony, that shock change, we're killing them here in the corners.
No question, the car's running very well. Able to hold off all challenges so far. He lost the lead on the yellow flag and the pit stop, but gained it right back.
Once again, as you watch the Napa field summary, in parentheses, on the right when the car started, Terry Labonte started 35th. He's now 16th. Bobby Labonte is 18th. Brett Labonte back at 24th after starting 40th. Robert Gordon is back at 22nd now after being at the top 10 a moment ago. And here we go, battle for second. Ward Burton.
And Ken Schrader is also showing strength here. Now, Jerry, what's the problem with Rusty Wallace, if anything?
Just asked Robin Pemberton, the crew chief. He said, smiled and said, well, Rusty said, okay, he just made a little mistake. Rusty told him, he said, I got out of line.
It is a problem. So Ward Burton now has Michael Waltrip to draft with him. A good battle for second position here between Burton and Earnhardt. And a good battle for fourth as Michael Waltrip and Ken Schrader are side by side into the corner. Burton pulls ahead slightly of Dale Earnhardt, goes to second position. So we got a Ford leading, a Pontiac running second, and Earnhardt, Chevy running in third position, although he's about to lose it to the 21 Ford of Michael Waltrip. Robin Pemberton looks on. There you can tell how hot it is today at Daytona on July 4th weekend. Back in a moment.
830 CFM carburetor. That means it flows about 830 cubic feet per minute. The driver hits the throttle, opens it up, air and fuel goes in and gives it the horsepower. At Daytona and Talladega, NASCAR slides an aluminum restrictor plate under the carburetor with 7/8-inch holes. This 7/8 hole will probably flow only 300 cubic feet per minute, therefore robbing the engine of approximately 40% of its horsepower. Most of these cars are running 750 horsepower. Now, about 450 horsepower. Let's show you a couple of things the engine builders, along with Braswell carburetor, do to gain some of that horsepower back. First of all, the throttle shaft. It's a 1/4-inch rod that goes through the base plate of the carburetor. And watch where they concave the thing right over the holes of the restrictor plate to gain some of that horsepower back. Next, the fuel discharge nozzle insert, commonly called the booster. Now, normally it's straight like that, but they taper it for restrictor plates. This taper directs the fuel into the small 7/8-inch hole. You know, folks, we're only talking about 5 or 6 horsepower, maybe 3 horsepower each. One for the throttle shaft and 3 horsepower for the booster, but that's 6, and that's about 1 mile per hour on the racetrack.
It's become a real science, and we might mention one other thing. That is the restrictor plates are handed out randomly. You don't take them home. Speaking of restricted performance, Rusty Wallace certainly falls into that category in his 38 career restrictor plate races. Only 1 top 5, 9 top 10s, and his average finish is 21st. And Rusty is having problems here today after running up in the top 5. He's now back to 8th position. And there's Jimmy Spencer passing him, but remember, Spencer is not on the lead lap. Dale Earnhardt to the inside of Michael Waltrip for 3rd position, and here comes Ernie Irvin to 4th.
Well, he's trying to take over fourth, and he will. Michael Waltrip falls in right behind him in the 6-0 car. John Andretti still continues to lead.
Ward Burton still running in second position in a Pontiac. Remember the last time a Pontiac won here at Daytona? 1984 with Richard Petty.
His 200th career victory.
The president was here, Air Force One, landing over by the backstretch. What a day that was.
And Hutch Strickland. A good run today for the Circuit City car.
He's up in ninth position. Derek Cope.
Closes in. That's the multicolored car. Jeff Burton right in front of him, the X-Side car. And Terry Labonte has gotten by Jeff Gordon.
Terry Labonte, since the restart, has moved from 25th position, which was on lap 38, up to 14th now as we've completed 71 laps, actually.
Jeremy Mayfield has a problem. The RCA car on the bottom of the racetrack looks like he's off the pace.
He was running in the top 10, moved into the top 10 just briefly, but now Mayfield has fallen back to 16th.
Well, there he's back. It looks like he's back up speed. I'm sorry for all you Jeremy Mayfield fans.
Here comes Bobby Hamilton, to the inside of him, trying to pass him. And Kyle Petty in the 44 car. By the way, for you Bill Elliott fans, after running so well, he is back in 34th position, and they're saying they're going to try to ride it out. Tony Ferd down talking to Richard Childress, huh?
I guess they're planning on making a pit stop at the same time. Jerry, what are they talking about down there?
Well, Benny, you're exactly right. They're talking about fuel mileage and how long they could go. They're figuring they could probably run around 55 laps. They pitted on lap 34. That would mean that Andretti would probably make his next pit stop on lap 89 or 90, and possibly the 3 would come with him.
Okay. There's the 46 car of Wally Dallenbach losing a lap back in 35th position. That's kind of unusual for Wally Dallenbach because he usually runs very well in these super speedways.
Yes, he has been running awfully well this year in the first Union car, but today, off the pace a little bit.
Certainly is. And there you see Sterling Marlin, who's also again a lap down after early tire problems. Look at Hutt.
Dives on the inside and goes by Dale Jarrett with ease. Wow, puts him up to 8th spot. See those cars running side by side and battling? Back at 183, 182 miles per hour. The leader running 184. And remember, when the green flag, when the cars started on this run with the fresh tires, 186, 187, look, down to 184. And you wonder if tires make a difference, fresh tires make a difference. If you can see it on the screen, about 3 miles per hour.
We're talking to Jeremy Mayfield's crew, and they say nothing's wrong with Jeremy, just got out of the draft. We'll time the cars again on this lap, see how they compared to last lap.
The leader this time, Rusty Wallace, was 1.5 miles per hour faster than the leader. And Rusty's worked his way back. And Ernie Irvin is up in 3rd spot. Let's see, ran 184, even faster than the leader.
And Andretti was faster that lap than the previous one.
Still the street, 85 laps to go, just 5 laps.
Earnhardt moves in 6th place over Rusty Wallace. There is Hutt. He's 8th in the Circuit City car.
And Earnhardt on the inside of Michael Walker. And Dowd on the inside of Spencer makes it 3 abreast in 1.
Strickland has not led a lap, but started 19th and is currently up to 8th spot. So still a lot of positions being fought for and exchanged up front as the car of John Andretti, well, he's running with the big dogs today, showing the way here by about 0.2 of a second over Ward Burton. Ernie Irvin is 3rd. Ken Schrader is 4th. We'll be right back. At 8:30. 8:30 Eastern Time. The auto racing excitement continues on the Deuce with coverage of 3 Legends car races, late model stocks, and Parts Truck Series from Lanier, Georgia. Only on the Deuce, Sunday at 8:30 Eastern Time.
Here we go, the 98 car with Larry McReynolds, Tony Ferr. Got a lot of discussions going on there. And we see Ray Evernham and Tony Glover talking things over.
Glover, of course, now working with the Joe Nemechek car. Well, we're reaching the halfway point as they cross the line this time. John Andretti will lead the 80th lap. We're halfway through the Pepsi 400 in a race that's going very, very quickly.
And he picked up $10,000 from Gatorade for doing that. So I know who did that for a loan now, John Andretti.
And Dale Earnhardt goes way up on the racetrack. He's running in 4th spot. How about our Bud race recap? Well, John Andretti has led 74 of the first 80 laps with 6 lead changes. 1 caution period lasted 4 laps, and the average speed over 170 miles an hour. Those who have led a lap, John Andretti the most. Mike Skinner was the pole sitter, led 2. Bill Elliott led 2 before dropping back. Jeff Gordon 1, and Brett Bodine led 1 lap during the caution period. 2 cars off the track, Mike Skinner and Billy Standridge, and only 1 car is out of the race. That was Chad Little. Jerry Punch, what's the report on pit strategy? Pit stop should be coming up soon.
Well, Bob, as fast as John Andretti is, you still need help when you make a pit stop. You got to have a partner to draft back up to speed, and therein lies the problem for John Andretti. You saw the discussions a moment ago. Tony Ferr says they have to pit on lap 89 because leading has hurt their fuel mileage. They cannot go past lap 89, and that's the problem because the guys behind them, the 22, the 28, and the 3, and the others, can maybe go to lap 91. They don't want to pit in 98 and help them. They're trying to find someone who will pit with them on lap 89. They just sent a runner up in the 24 car to see if possibly even Jeff Gordon would come down pit road with them and come back toward the front. But right now, as it stands, they will pit all alone on lap 89.
Okay, so that's only 7 laps from right now. And speaking of Jeff Gordon, he is back in 18th position. And Rick Mast is in.
75 car coming down pit road. John Kernan, what's going on?
Well, it's regularly scheduled pit stop for Rick Mast. The last pit stop, the crew had a good stop, but they let a tire get away, so they had to go to the end of the longest line. Right side's going on. They've got a wrench out to make an adjustment in the left rear. It'll be a 4-tire change for Mast as the crew comes around. Second can of gas is in, but he's pitting all by himself on pit road, which means that once he goes back out on the track, he will not have traffic help.
And what the cars on the racetrack are running.
Now he can accelerate and get back to speed as fast as possible, but still he's probably only running 70 or 80 miles per hour, and the entire field goes blowing by him. Back to the lead, and here's Rusty Wallace battling for Michael Waltrip, battle for 5th. And the 23 car, the Camel car, is a lap down.
As is the 4 car. Schrader again way up high on the racetrack as he has been most of the morning.
These cars finished. John Andretti says he can only go to 89. That's 55 laps on tank and fuel.
Here's a Napa Field summary. We're very close to the pit stops. Let's take a look at how they are running before they come in. Jarrett in 8th position. Mark Martin, 2nd in points, is up to 10.
Go on the outside, make it 3 abreast.
Thought maybe John Andretti would make the pit stop this time around, but he did not, as Michael Waltrip's got a great view of
said my fuel pressure has dropped down to 5 and under 5 in the turns. When I get back on the straightaway, it goes back up to 7.5, but I've got to come next time. So he's going to come down pit road, possibly next time. Hold on, here's Tony Furr talking to him. Furr says try to make it one more lap if you can. I don't think Andretti can make it. We'll see if he comes on his own this time out of turn 4.
This is called a roll of the dice. Do you stop? Do you do what the crew chief wants and stay out one more lap? I have a feeling he's coming in.
You can't run out of fuel. You just cannot run out of fuel, especially on the back straight. You coast in, and it will kill your track position.
But he's not going to come in. He's staying out there. John Andretti is making another lap. How about that? Well, will he run out of fuel on this lap? There's Tony Furr, and he is saying, you got to go one more. Hut Strickland comes down pit road and is the first of those in the top 10 or so to come in.
I just happened to glance up a moment ago in turn 2. Hut Strickland almost crashed. So we got to get these tires off here. I'm coming in the pits. Bill Weber.
And Hut is here. Now look for some teams to make the risky call of putting on just 2 tires in this round of pit stops, trying to pick up track position because we've had so much green flag racing. Hut has right side tires on. He will get 4 tires, 2 cans of Unical fuel. He will not have a drafting partner, trying to cool the driver with a fan. Plenty of fuel in the car now, waiting for the 24 to come down pit road as the Rainbow Warriors climb up on the wall, and the 8 leads to Jerry Punch.
Well, they rolled the dice and they won because Andretti didn't need. Made it one more lap as Tony Furr won it. Here comes Jeff Gordon down pit road. Tony Furr had just run down the Gordon pit and asked for help. And indeed, the 24 flashes by. The 98 comes to a halt. 4 tires. They will clean the windshield. You hear John Andretti revving the engine. Has the clutch in. Does not want to stall it. Has a chance to pick up the first win. Right side tires are on. Left front lug nuts off. Left rear lug nuts off. Left front and left rear tires on. They're about done.
4 tires for Gordon. A wedge adjustment. Fuel is in Gordon's way. He's going to beat out Andretti. They'll be able to draft together when they get back out on the track. Andretti and Gordon. Andretti pulls in front as they get back on the racing surface.
So we'll watch those 2 hook up as the green flag continues to be out. Ward Burton has now picked up the lead. John Kernan.
And problems for Terry Labonte. He almost missed his pit. He's going to have to back it up. He's in. He's out of the rear end's out of the box. The NASCAR official has not said anything. The right rear can be out. It'll be a 4-tire change. It's what we planned. I think Terry just didn't see his pit in time. Now they're coming around to the left side. Had a little bit of a problem on the right rear. Terry grinding the engine. Tell him to hurry, hurry, hurry. They make sure the grill is cleaned off. Sitting, waiting, getting the lug nuts tightened off the left rear tire. And Terry Labonte is headed down pit road.
And the interesting thing that we saw when Hut Strickland was pitting was the portable fan that one of the crew members took over the wall to cool him off just for the moment that he was in.
Jake makes his pit stop and goes back on the racetrack. There we see Terry Labonte as he exits pits. And John Andretti got lucky, Bob, because when he goes back on the racetrack, he was able to hook up with a lead draft and really doesn't have to run out there by himself. He can hook up with some fast cars and maintain that good speed. Plus, he comes off the corner on the back of that 21. And with those fresh tires, John Andretti going by the 21 car, going by the 22 car. Wow.
John Andretti's best finish here in Daytona, 23rd in July of 1996. He has an extremely strong car today as other pit stops are being made. Bobby McKinley, Derek Cope, Morgan Shepherd all in. So is Brett Bodine. They're in and out of the pits as the action continues on the racetrack. And Dale Earnhardt now has led a lap, getting the 5 bonus points.
John Andretti wants to get back in front in case the caution flag should come out. He can make it right now. If caution comes out, he can make up 2.5 miles on the field as Jerry Cope tries to get up to speed in the Skittles Pontiac.
Pretty remarkable statistic there for Dale Earnhardt. He has never, of course, won the Daytona 500, but he's won this race twice in 90 and 93. Bill Elliott has been in. So is Johnny Benson.
Well, Bill Elliott is just now coming to the pit, and I wonder if he's going to raise the hood. Look at the smoke coming out of the car. Yes, they are raising the hood, trying to figure out what's going on. Bill Weber?
Benny, they're going to do a regulation pit stop here, but they are going to look underneath the hood. Mike Beeman told me a few laps ago he's afraid it's a rocker arm. They were hoping it's a plug wire, but they're afraid it's a rocker arm that McDonald's Ford has sounded terrible. They've got the right right side's on. This is going to be an extra long pit stop. Dale Jarrett and Jerry Punch.
All right, Todd Perry and the crew come scrambling over. They will change all 4 tires. They will make an adjustment in the right rear of the car, a small track bar adjustment, as Musgrave pulls in right in front of Dale Jarrett. 2 rounds in the right rear, right front tire, and a right rear tire. A little bit of trouble now with the right front. They go around to the left side. Let's check it in the Mark Martin pit.
And a major chassis adjustment on the right side for Mark Martin. He gets 4 tires, waiting on the left rear. It's done. The fuel's in, but a big chassis adjustment for Mark Martin. He leaves. Dale Jarrett will follow him out. And Bobby Labonte pulls away from his pit at the same time, followed by Ted Musgrave.
Jarrett out with a big puff of smoke as he spun the tires coming out. Michael Waltrip is in.
And what a day it has been for the Citgo Ford and Michael Waltrip. A great run. He brings that Ford into the pits, and his crew will go to work. He angles it perfectly for leaving the pits. There'll be no one in front of him. They're going to make a 4-tire change here, put in the fuel, and they will make a chassis adjustment. 1 round, now a second, now a 3rd round out of the Citgo Ford on the right side. Working on the left side tires. Michael Waltrip sits in the car. They clean the windshield. The fuel is in. The tires are bolted on. And Michael's back in the race. He'll have Rusty Wallace, maybe Ken Schrader, and perhaps Kenny or Jimmy Spencer as a drafting partner. A loose tire out in the grass from Kenny, or from Rusty Wallace's pit, actually. We'll have to see how this works out, because it's out in the grass between pit road and the front stretch.
Here comes Ward Burton in. He led a lap a few laps ago, but now comes in for his stop. There he is, along with Darrell Waltrip, who is going back out on the racetrack. The crew going to work on the MB&A Pontiac.
You just saw the most courageous man here when he went out in the grass and got that tire. Bill Weber?
That was pretty brave. He did that while Ward was coming in and while Darrell Waltrip was exiting the pits. Now Ward's got right side tires and fuel, working on the left side, putting on 2 more Goodyear Eagles. Fuel is in. They clean the grill, and now Ward stalls it. He's going to have to be pushed out. He gets it started. Now, when will the street pit? Jerry Punch?
Hey, Bill Weber, listen to this. I just talked to Richard Gillett. They have told Dale Earnhardt, stay out, try to stay out, watch the fuel pressure. If you can stay out to lap 97, if you can, that'll be our last pit stop. We can make it to 160. Now, if the fuel pressure fluctuates, Earnhardt will come in immediately.
Wow, that will be something, won't it? If he can stretch it to 97, this will be his last pit stop. Unbelievable. Now, here is the loose tire that came from Rusty's car. It bounces off the wall, keeps rolling, and it looked like somebody from the pit just behind him, which would have been Ward or Jeff Burton's, I believe, thought about going to get it, but they didn't, and the thing rolls into the grass and then stops.
Yeah, the fellow was taking the tire around like he was supposed to, and when he rolled it over for someone to catch it, that fellow didn't catch it. Yeah. Meanwhile, Ernie Irvin's making his pit stop.
And the 10 is coming in with the wheels locked up, trying to get slowed down. Ernie Irvin, Jeff Burton, and Ricky Rudd are all coming in together. Irvin, the first to arrive in his pit. And here comes Ricky Rudd down. Bill Weber.
And this might be the last time you see Ricky Rudd on pit road today. They're going to try and do this race on just 2 stops. They're hoping this is the last one. They've got the right side, so come around and work on the left, fill it with gas, clean the windshield. Jerry Punch.
And they made a track bar adjustment on the X-side Ford of Jeff Burton. 4 tires full of fuel. He is down and away, as is the car 28 of Ernie Irvin. And we're being told here in the Earnhardt pit, they said run 2 more laps, Dale, but watch that fuel pressure.
And right now, Earnhardt has backed off the throttle. Remember, he was leading the race up with John Andretti. Now he's falling back. We don't see him anyplace up there. He is back to 4th spot. But all these cars have made their pit stops. And there we see Earnhardt trying his best to save that fuel. He realizes maybe he can win this race by just staying out there and saving some fuel.
But right now, it's to his advantage to back off so that he will have only 1 stop to go. Jerry?
And he just radioed Childress, McReynolds, the crew guys, I gotta come this time. And that's okay, Dale. From now, we can make it to the checkered flag. Come on in, partner. 4 tires and fuel. The last time, hopefully, we'll see you in here today. Earnhardt slows down off the banking, down the 18-degree banking. Lap number 96 of 160. Could the poor luck, the bad luck, the winless streak for Earnhardt come to an end here today in the 39 Pepsi 400? 65 miles an hour, the same car. He tumbled that patch on the left front grill. Now through to the left side. One pump on the jack. He has a big tire mark on the left rear fender. Left rear, left front on. Down and away in 20.5 seconds.
Possibly the last pit stop for Dale Earnhardt. Here comes the field in the tri-oval. And the 44 car that is leading the race is indeed at the front of the field. He is the leader with the 21 car of Michael Waltrip second. So, Mark Martin broke a 42-race winless streak at Sonoma earlier this year. Could Earnhardt break his 42-race winless streak here today? Back at Daytona, and the Pepsi 400, which is now 99, make that 100 laps old. The 100th lap just put in the books. Michael Waltrip is leading this race. John Andretti is second, then Rusty Wallace.
You see Jeff Gordon, Mark Martin. John Andretti is showing he has a fast car all day. Is he fast enough to go by the 21 car? Not that lap.
But now he may have some drafting help at the bottom of the racetrack as Andretti hooks up with Rusty Wallace and Jeff Gordon and Ward Burton. And that line is going to prevail.
Yes, it is. And John Andretti back in front. But he has to stop again. Ricky Rudd, Dale Earnhardt, can they run to the end of the race?
This is looking back from Michael Waltrip to Mark Martin, and on the right is Jeff Gordon, way down on the bottom side of the track. Jeff Gordon certainly did pick up some positions during that sequence of pit stops.
Remember, he and John Andretti stopped together and came out together, so he was able to benefit off drafting with a fast car, John Andretti.
Something wrong with Jeff Gordon's car when they came out of the pits on the first series of stops, but obviously everything is okay, and this pit stop has put him back in contention.
Now there is a gaggle of cars. We see Earnhardt right at the very back of that line. There's Kyle Petty in the middle of the 44 car in the middle of the screen. He was leading the race when we went to break. And now he is back in 11th spot as Terry Labonte goes by, so make him 12th spot.
John Kernan.
As you said just a few minutes ago, Kyle Petty took the lead, and we speculated here on pit road perhaps it was only a two-tire change. No, I came down and checked with his crew chief, Bobby Kennedy. They did a four-tire change, and get this, 17.5 seconds. But like most everybody else in the field, they also have to make one more stop. So we'll keep an eye to see if they have another quick one.
Petty, 22nd in the point standings coming in.
Kyle Petty's spotter telling him there's a car on the outside of him.
And that car would be Derek Cope.
I thought Labonte was past the Kyle Petty the last lap. This restricted plate racing, you got to pay attention because it changes every straightaway, it seems. Come down, battle between the 3 and the 10, the two cars that are side by side right now. Both of these cars indicate they will not stop again for fuel or tires unless the caution flag comes back out. Bill Weber, is that true?
Well, for Ricky Rudd, it's true. Ricky Rudd ran 64 laps on that last fuel run. Now, they figured out the amount of fuel they used and what they had left in the tank. They need to go 65 this time to make the checkers, and they can without a problem. Jerry?
Well, Dale Earnhardt ran 62 laps on that last tank of fuel. If you do the math, they're counting him coming in on lap 97, according to Larry McReynolds, and that subtracted 1 to 160 would be he had to go 63 laps. The only problem is the fuel pressure was fluctuating for Dale when he came in after 62 laps. If we get no yellows, he'll have to make it 63 to the checkered flag.
That's going to be interesting. Well, one of the guys that certainly did not benefit from the pit stops, as several did, was Hut Strickland. He was running up into the top 10, now back in 23rd position.
Well, just before, there we see Hut Strickland going down in turn 1. Just before the pit stop he made, I told you, he almost spun, so he had to slow down for a couple laps, and all it takes is 2 or 3 seconds. I mean, he's only, right now, how far behind the leader is he now, Bob?
Well, he's about 5.5 seconds.
5.5 seconds, and easily he lost 3 or 4 seconds when he had to slow down because of the tires worn.
The 37 car of Jeremy Mayfield ran out of fuel, and he's back in 29th position.
Michael Walker, Mark Martin, Bill Elliott. And looks like the Elliott car's back up to speed.
Yes, it is. And by the way, in the last 10 laps or so, Mike Skinner has come back onto the racetrack. Michael Waltrip, his best finish here at Daytona, 6th. That happened in the Daytona 500 in 1995. Currently running in 4th position. And our overhead shots, courtesy of, and Ken Schrader is in the wall. He's been running up close to the wall nearly all race long and got a little too close that time. The caution is out.
Boy, what a break for those guys that had to make that other pit stop.
Yep. Now all that fuel mileage calculation is really down the drain because everybody will be able to come in and get some fuel.
Well, Will Earnhardt pit. Will Ricky Rudd pit? Track position means everything. They may stay out there. And we see that Schrader's flattened the side of that Skoal Chevrolet.
Just our second caution of the afternoon.
The right front tire is flat. I don't know if it went flat and caused the crash or the crash caused the flat. Jerry Bunch?
Well, Benny, he radioed and said apparently he cut a right front tire, so you're exactly right. The car, the Skoal Chevrolet, they come in. Andy Petrie now with a sledgehammer trying to beat the right front fender back out. Andy owns the race car, and now they're trying. The Goodrich guy runs over to pull that shredded tire out of the way because apparently Earnhardt and others will be coming down pit road momentarily. They've got a tire on the Skoal Chevrolet, and Schrader still sits on pit road. We'll take a look again at what happened.
Here we see him at the very back, right beside the 28 car. And they go in turn 3. This is down the backstretch. They go in turn 3. All those cars go in the corner, and the right front tire goes flat, and straight in the wall goes Schrader. But luckily, he was on the top of the racetrack, where he's been most of the day, and so the blow was a lot less had he been with the 28 car and got that thing aimed hard, straight for the wall. The blow would have been much harder.
Okay, caution is out. The pit road has not been open yet. It will be next time around, so we anticipate lots of pit stops. The question is, will Earnhardt and Rudd, who have both said that they can go the distance on fuel, will they come in or will they stay out there and keep the track position?
Very interesting. I know one thing, this had to be a break for John Andretti, Rusty Wallace, Michael, all those cars that could not make it to the end. This has to be a break because now they can stop and don't have to stop again.
Ken Schrader, the reason for the caution, had 9 top 10 finishes in the last 10 Daytona races. So a bit of a setback for him. Pace car leads the field down the backstretch. Laps have been completed.
So it's going to be, what, 30, 40 seconds before these cars get to the pits. And those crew chiefs, their minds are whirling 1,000 miles an hour. What do we need? They're talking to the driver. Do we need to make a chassis adjustment? Okay, it's okay. All the decisions they make in this next 30, 40 seconds will probably determine who wins this race.
Yep. Let's see what happens here. We're going to know in just a moment as the field comes off of corner number 4. We know that John Andretti and Rusty Wallace and those people will be coming in. Andretti already down to the inside of the racetrack. And here he comes. Pit road is now open. Here they come.
Car, all those cars stayed on the lead lap. Turn the bonnet, the first car in
They had to push him back, but Terry has come all the way up into the top 15 from his 35th place starting spot. It'll be 2 tires on the right side. We'll have to wait and see if they decide yes, there will be a 4-tire change. Let's go down to Dr. Jerry Punch.
Right side tire's already on John Andretti. John Josie trying to get it in full, and Mark Martin is already out in the middle of your screen. Rusty Wallace has gotten his tires changed, 18.1, and now finally 22.3 for John Andretti. He is down and away. Let's go to Bill Weber. Jeff Gordon stalled the car, but he's away, followed out of pit road by the 44 and the 88. Mark Martin's guys talking about 2 tires. He's judging from the length of that pit stop. That's what they did to put Mark back out there in the track position they wanted.
Wow. Wow.
And both Earnhardt and Rudd did pit, by the way.
Wow.
So that's how they're going to line up for the restart when we come back to Daytona International Speedway and more of the Pepsi 400. Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway and the Pepsi 400 under our second caution of the afternoon. In the pit area that time, Terry Labonte hit a tire from the 9 team and some unhappy people.
Watch him see him hit the car, and that Kellogg's guy says, yelled to the Lake Speed crew, come on, get that tire out of the way, man. You're messing up the valence of the front air dam on our car. Those guys take it pretty serious, don't they?
And in the Pennzoil pit, a possible injury to one of the crew members.
See him looking at his ankle or foot. Got some ice already around it.
Well, we'll check on that to see how serious the injury is. Meanwhile, we'd like to salute Pennzoil because they provide the overhead shots with the camera on the Pennzoil copter cam. We are under caution because of Ken Schrader's incident with the wall in turn number 3. And there is Ken. Right front tire went down right into the wall in turn 3, but not a great deal of damage to that car. He's still on the lead lap. Back in a moment. Just about to go back to racing here in Daytona with Mark Martin at the front of the field. He only took on 2 tires during that pit stop, and he's got track position here as we go back to green. Ward Burton second. Jeff Burton is in third. Derek Cope fourth. And Rusty Wallace is in fifth as the green comes out. While they're getting up to speed, let's take a look at a pit summary. Andretti in first, loses 8 positions back to 9th. Rusty Wallace loses 3. Michael Waltrip 4. Mark Martin gains 3, and Jeff Burton was the big winner as he gained 12 positions on that pit stop.
And Ricky Rudd made another pit stop. It looked like an unscheduled pit stop after all the pit stops have been made. Bill Weber, you have any idea what they did?
Benny, Jim Long saw the fender was rubbing on the right front tire after Rudd had come in. They don't know how it happened. They imagine, obviously, he bumped someone in traffic or someone bumped him, but they don't know when it happened either. Jim just happened to see it then, so he called Rudd back in. They came in. They pulled the right front fender away. They didn't want to take any chances in the last laps of this race. They didn't want Ricky to cut a right front tire, so they pulled the fender away. Jerry?
Well, the injured crew member in the Pennzoil pit was jackman Gary Leffler. And what happened, Gary was on pit road to jack the 30 car when the 81 car came down pit road. And according to Gary, the 81 car clipped him, got his right ankle. He took a tumble, has a small laceration, a small cut about 2 inches on the outside of the right ankle, has some pain at the lower part of the right leg. He's able to, he's not really that uncomfortable. They're going to go ahead and splint it, ice it, take it in for a precautionary x-ray. But his activities are through for the day.
No, let's hope it's no more serious than that. Well, this is the time when you kind of hold your breath for a few laps while these guys get sorted out. We've just gone back to green from a caution, and look at this racing.
And they are 3 abreast, and be 4 abreast if the rules call for it. John Andretti, the guys who led most laps today, having trouble getting back to the front. There we see him, the red and white car following Ernie Irvin.
The Daytona 500 back in 1990. He's in that 36 car.
Following Jimmy Spencer, high on the racetrack. High on the racetrack.
Very high.
Very high on the racetrack. Jimmy Spencer, once again, is a lap down at Rusty hung out to dry.
Cope took only 2 tires during those pit stops, as did Mark Martin.
Check the speeds at the line.
Andretti was the fastest at 186.8.
Dale Jarrett also won
186.9. Jarrett.
Check him out back there in the back at the 190 range. Earnhardt, Terry Labonte, Blake Speed, Dick Trickle, Kenny Wallace, Rick Mast. And it looks like they've caught up with the front pack. So about all those cars you see in the lead group.
Jeff Gordon right there in front of Dale Earnhardt. They're out of the top 10, but we'll see in 20 laps where they are.
Ernie Irving, John Andretti, Dale Jarrett, Jeff Gordon all working the bottom of the racetrack, trying to go by Derek Cope.
Bill, a few drivers only took 2 tires on that stop. Why?
Well, they did it for track position, Bob, but it's going to be interesting to see how it unfolds. A lot of cheerleading going on over the radios down here. Almost all the guys that took 4 are telling their drivers, don't worry about the guys that took 2. There's no way they'll be able to hang on. In fact, Ray Evernham told Jeff Gordon those guys that took 2 will fade, and those guys that took 4 will march to the front.
Boy, did you see 98 car John Andretti?
Yep.
Almost ran out of the racetrack over turn 3.
Almost down to the grass past Rusty.
Rusty Wallace now leads group 2 by 2. He and Derek Cope side by side. Jeff Burton on the outside of Dale Jarrett.
Ted Musgrave is also in this mix.
And Jeff Gordon, our Winston Cup points leader. And Earnhardt dives to the inside. Drives it on the inside of Terry Labonte. Can't quite make it. Is that Ted Musgrave? I guess that's Ted Musgrave.
And Derek Cope continues to run up against the wall, just about as high as you can ride without hitting it.
I guess that's where the car wants to go, and Derek is letting that car have its head. Now, Rusty Wallace caught in the middle, 3 cars down in turn 1.
And the drafting lines will form on either side of Rusty Wallace.
He's finally been able to squeeze in front of Bobby Hamilton.
Jeff Gordon drops in behind Derek Cope. He's been shadowing Dale Jarrett for the last few laps, but now drops in behind Derek.
And there comes Ted Musgrave. We talked about him at the very top of the show. Over the line, car 2 or 3 years old.
That 36 car of Cope has a Hendrick engine. But look, Jeff is right on the bumper. Meanwhile, up front, it continues to be Mark Martin's second car is the lap car of Sterling Marlin. Then Ward Burton, then a lap car, then Michael Waltrip and Ernie Irvin. We timed laps 113 through 118. Martin the leader and Earnhardt back in 10th position, and look how that interval is closed up.
Closed up to 1.3 seconds. And look at that 47.2. That's that 190 mile per hour lap we saw.
In the last 9 Winston Cup races, Mark Martin has scored more points than any other driver, and right now he is the leader of the Pepsi 400 as 120 out of 160 laps have been completed. Well, in today's Pepsi 400, John Andretti has a real need for speed. Look at him go 3 wide, almost to the grass in the backstretch to pick up the position. John Andretti, one of the strongest runners so far here today. He is in 4th position. But the man on the move is Jeff Jeff Gordon. He has moved up to 6th position right behind Ernie Irvin.
That's a real shock, isn't it?
Yeah, big surprise, huh?
And look at Jared. Crashes. Jeff Gordon crashes. Several cars. And how in the world?
All right, baby. Come on, come on.
Don't go across the racetrack, Derek. Don't go across the racetrack.
Come on, Dick. Bring it on to the line. Bring it on. Caution is out.
And Sterling Marlin is going to get a lap back.
Finally, after almost all the race, because Sterling had his problem in the early going, he gets the lap back on the 125th circuit. But Jeff Gordon has not lost a lap yet, but he had to damage that car when he hit the wall not once, but 2 or 3 or 4 times before sliding across the racetrack.
You know he has some damage, otherwise he would have driven up on the bank of the racetrack. He's keeping the car on the apron of the racetrack and bringing it around to the pits. And he probably cannot make the lap on those tires to catch up with the field. Wow.
A 92-point edge over Mark Martin going into this event. Mark Martin is the leader of the race. Jeff Gordon is coming in after having hit the wall over the backstretch.
Well, just almost identical to what happened to Dale Earnhardt in the Daytona 500. Yep. Came off the corner, got the car pushing.
And here he comes down the pit road slowly. The pace car has the field at reduced speed over in turn 3. Bill Weber.
Well, Jeff Gordon limping down pit road. Originally, they had thought they were going to take the car behind the wall. Now the pit crew is back up on the wall. The Rainbow Warriors waiting for Gordon to nurse his DuPont Chevy here into the pits. There's no damage on the left side. The left front tire is flat. They go around to the right side, the field in turn 4. They do not want to lose that lap. They'll have to go to the end of the longest line, but that's a minor concern at this point. Pulling the sheet metal away from the right front. They're pointing out that the left front is flat. They're going to need to get that changed before the pace car gets here. Now they come around to the left side. They've got the right side tires on. Around to the left with the jack. Looking for the pace car. It's approaching the start-finish line. Trying to hurry. They've got the left side tires on. Tightening the bar. They drop the jack. Gordon is away. The green sign is out, and Gordon does not lose a lap.
Unbelievable. Boy, it was close, but Gordon stays on the lead lap. Wow.
Are those guys cool under pressure or what?
I'm telling you. He's going to have to go back to 34th position since that is the last car on the lead lap, but Gordon nevertheless stays on the lead lap. And here's what happened as he came out of the second corner.
Just comes off the second corner, and a car either pushed up there or got loose. And Derek Cope tries to go through the grass, tries to keep the car straight, can't quite make it. He does spin. I don't think Derek hits anything, though. But I'm sure riding across all that grass to pavement doesn't help anything.
And once again, Benny, we dodge a major bullet because there could have been a dozen cars involved in this.
They sure could have. And watch as he goes all the way across the racetrack between cars.
Terry Labonte came real close.
What a trick that was. Man, watch from the blimp. Helicopter.
Copter cam. That's from the camera up on the roof. He hits the wall 3 times before he spins to the infield. And look at Labonte right there.
Just, I don't know how in the world those guys were able to get through.
Wow. Now we go to the copter cam.
And watch as Gordon comes off and looks like the car got a little bit loose, and he chased the back end up the racetrack and just simply ran out of the racetrack. Wow.
Gordon is back in, Bill.
And now they're going to work on the cosmetics and the aerodynamics. They're going to try and pull all that sheet metal away from the right front tire. They looked at the right rear. They seem to be happy with that. Patrick Donahue, Ray Evernham are out there. Now they're going to tape down the hood along the right side. Gordon revs the engine a little bit, anxious to get back out. Watching for the pace car. Ray tells him plenty of time. Again, more tape to make sure the hood does not come loose. Gordon's going to creep forward. They use a tool that helps pull that sheet metal away. It's a little roller device. The Gordon rolls forward. The car actually moves forward, and the device pulls the sheet metal away from the right front tire. That's what they did. He's back out. This is amazing. This is how these guys won a championship, by never giving up in a race. You know, they booed Gordon in his driver intros because he's doing so well. But this is why, because these guys never, ever quit.
The Rainbow Warriors are quite a group, and they have kept their driver, Jeff Gordon, on the lead lap here, as we will go back to green in just a moment when we return to Daytona. lap to the green. Jeff Gordon was in again. They're adjusting the tie rod on the right front of the car. We'll be back to green after this commercial break at Daytona International Speedway. We have just gone green. The car's reaching turn number 1 under race conditions as Mark Martin continues to lead the race. But look at that car up on the high side, passing Ward Burton. That is John Andretti.
He passed Michael Waltrip down in turn 1, and he passed the 22 car off 2. Now, Michael Waltrip and the 22 got a great battle going for 5th spot. Michael Waltrip, now which one of these Fords going to? Oh, 88 Dale Jarrett started underneath Ernie Irvin, but Ernie decided to go down there, so the Ford Pontiac looks like he's in trouble with all those Fords ganged up on him.
Mark Martin, Bill Elliott, Jimmy Spencer, and John Andretti running together, those 4 cars, and then this group. And Spencer still trying to get the lap back.
Now here comes John Andretti, going by the 2 lap cars of Bill Elliott and Jimmy Spencer. So put Andretti into the 2nd spot. Boy, the RCA car is fast today.
Indeed it is. John Andretti has never won a NASCAR Winston Cup race. He is that far from the lead, setting his sights on Mark Martin. Meanwhile, here comes Michael Waltrip, and he is another driver who has never won a Winston Cup race, running 3rd at the moment.
John Andretti took the look off turn 4. Mark Martin took him right down to the grass.
Andretti's got that car right on the
Car has been working very, very good. Right on the bottom of the racetrack, which is obviously the shortest way around. He looks once again on the inside.
Sure did. Had some good momentum build up down the backstretch, but couldn't do anything. Bill Elliott still running well, although he's 2 laps down in 3rd position.
Andretti once again tried to get a run off turn 4. Could not quite make it. That is the wife, Nancy, looking on. Then he turned 1, he looks again.
Nope. Mark also right down to the bottom to block the advance of John Andretti, or possible advance.
And he's staying on the bottom of the racetrack. Here he goes once again. I guess he hopes that Bill Elliott will go with him. He's trying to make all his moves, hoping that Elliott, Spencer, somebody will go with him.
Remember, John Andretti complained that he was much higher if somebody worked with him. Once again, looking inside here in the tri-oval, has a run going to turn 1. Can't make a move, but look at this group. Ward Burton, Terry Labonte, Derek Cope.
And Derek Cope is back up there again. Is that Cope or the 16 car Musgrave? I guess that's Musgrave.
Meanwhile, the 24 car of Jeff Gordon is back in 34th position. Last car on the lead lap, clear at the back of the line. And if points were awarded right now, Mark Martin would be in the NASCAR Winston Cup points lead for the first time in 6 years. 1991 was the last time he was in the points lead. So Jeff Gordon's incident with the wall in the backstretch late in the race has put him back to 34th position. His teammate Ricky Craven right behind him on the racetrack.
And Ricky Craven had something, a piece of brake rotor go through his radiator early in the race, so he's several laps down.
There are the points. Jeff Gordon would be 22 behind, and Terry Labonte would be 61 behind if points were awarded right now. But we still have
Several laps to go.
26 laps to go, as a matter of fact, 25 and a half.
Talking about what happened at Talladega with John Andretti. Couldn't get anyone to go with him. Well, now they have radioed up to the Andretti spotter on the roof high atop the tri-oval, and John Andretti's spotter is going over to talk to Bill Elliott's spotter to see if possibly Bill would go. Those two Fords would go together and try to go to the front. As Tony Furr now talking to his driver, said, we're trying to talk to Elliott to get him to go with you. We'll find out when we come back if indeed Elliott and Andretti will hook up. Back in a moment.
Back at the Pepsi 400 at Daytona International Speedway, we have completed 138 of 160 laps. John Andretti has taken the lead away from Mark Martin. We're riding with Robbie Gordon, who's back in 26th spot.
Right behind Morgan Shepherd. Almost made contact off the corner. Here's Bill Elliott. He is 2 laps down. Had a plug wire come off earlier in the race as he's right behind the leader of the race, John Andretti.
Here's Rick Mast, who is currently running in 27th position. The Remington Stren onboard camera.
And Michael Walker is currently running in 2nd spot. Only the lap car, Bill Elliott, between he and the leader.
Rusty Wallace back
in 17th spot.
He's been a contender all day. Has run up in the top 10 most of the day, but is in 17th at the moment. And there is traffic in front of Mark Martin for the first time in a long time because, well, he lost the lead just a while ago to John Andretti.
They come off turn 4 on Andretti, and Bill Elliott goes down right with him, gets on the bumper, and takes the lead. Meanwhile, Earnhardt goes by the 23 car. And Dale Jarrett tried to get by Earnhardt.
And Nancy Andretti, John's wife, is near tears. She is hoping so much that her husband can pull off the victory here today. These last 20 laps are going to be, or 30 laps are going to be on edge for her. Let's go down to Jerry Punch.
As you watched Nancy Andretti a moment ago, John Andretti's spotter went over to Elliott's spotter, as we said, go into commercial and convinced him to go along. And Tony Furr said, when you made the pass, John, now, if the engine runs the final 20 laps, can't nobody handle you. You're going to victory lane. But remember the deal. If the caution comes out, you got to let the 94 back by you to get his lap back. That was the deal for him helping you to go by the 6.
Yes, indeed. Now, look at Dale Earnhardt like a shot out of a cannon. He comes along with Dale Jarrett. Mark Martin also on the bottom of the racetrack as they all pass by Michael Waltrip.
And Ward Burton. They've got poor Michael on the outside. They don't want to let him back in. Here comes Sterling Marlin. Stayed a lap down almost all day long. He's now back up to the 10th spot.
An incredible run for Sterling Marlin, who until the second caution flag was a lap down, but now he is among the contenders. There's Jeff Burton working up on the high side. He's back in 12th. And the 90 car of Dick Trickle is also having a good run. Dick is 7th.
Sterling Marlin, since the restart, was in 30th spot on lap 130. 10 laps later, he's in 10th. Gained 20 spots.
That is quite a run for Sterling Marlin, who has won here at Daytona 3 times, won the Daytona 500 twice, and won this race last year. He's the defending champion. Back up front we go.
And we see that Jarrett got some heat on Mark Martin. Ward Burton and Mark Martin trying to gang up on Dale Jarrett, get by. Jarrett goes up the racetrack, and he's trying to go by Earnhardt on the outside.
Not going to be able to do it, though. He'll fall in behind Dale as they go down the backstretch. 18 laps to go. And how about that Dick Trickle, BP?
In 6th spot, Hollick Myers, 4th Thunderbird.
And right behind him is Sterling Marlin.
And Kyle Petty, look, he's in the mix.
Yep.
And here comes Sterling.
John Kernan.
I just talked to Rupp Pittman, who built the motors for Sterling Marlin's car. They know they've always got a strong flame motor. I asked Rupp, is it a strong enough motor to pull Sterling toward the front? Rupp just looked at me, smiled, actually took the toothpick out of his mouth, and said, well, Sterling's giving it his best shot. We'll just have to wait and see.
Boy, this is incredible racing here with less than 20 laps to go. There are only 3 cars out of the race, and there are 34 cars that are still on the lead lap, being led by John Andretti. laps to go, and the Pepsi 400 make that 14 laps to go now as John Andretti hangs on to the lead. But Dale Earnhardt is closing in quickly. While we were in break, an incredible thing happened to Michael Waltrip.
Michael Waltrip, the red car on the inside, comes off the corner, goes up. He and Dick Trickle almost make contact. He tries to jerk the car away from Trickle, and watch this, folks. He goes through the grass, drives back on the racetrack, and continues on.
Unbelievable how he saved that.
There we see him, he gets the car a little bit out of shape, and just all of a sudden, drives across the racetrack, keeps it going straight through the grass, and kept going.
Wow. How about his onboard camera shot? Let's take a look at this.
He was busy for about a half a second, wasn't he?
He had a handful, but kept his cool and kept right on going. How about that? He's back in 31st position, but he saved himself from a big, big wreck. Well, we have Andretti, Earnhardt, and Jarrett running first, second, and third, and Mark Martin running back in fourth. Dick Trickle in fifth position. How about that? This is going to be interesting, these last 12, 13 laps, Vinny.
And Sterling Marlin back in sixth spot. John Andretti never been in this position before. Can he keep this group of cars behind him? He's got to stay in the race car.
And in the past years with restrictor plate racing, generally speaking, you want to be out front when there are a couple of laps to go, unlike previous years when you could use the slingshot to go around. And right now, Andretti is out front and has shown strength all day long. Look at Jimmy Spencer way up on the high side of the track, trying to get around Sterling Marlin.
Now, they announced yesterday at the Speedway that this race next year, in 1998, will be run under the lights. They're going to light Daytona International Speedway, and it'll be spectacular at night.
Joe Crookman, the president of Musco Lighting Company, says it will be enough lighting to light 24,000 blocks of residential lighting. It would light a residential street stretching from Daytona Beach, Florida to Iowa in the home offices of Musco Lighting.
Let's check out the speeds. And we see the leaders are not running that fast, 184 miles per hour. As a matter of fact, the entire field of cars in the back are actually running faster than the cars in the front.
Yep. Here's Terry Labonte and Ward Burton running side by side in the battle for seventh spot.
There's some real struggles going on out there right now because they realize just 10 and a half laps to go. The position game right now might be a position you have at the end of the race. There's a battle for spot. The eighth spot.
Irvin and Ward Burton. Mario Andretti has won here at Daytona in 1967. Possibly a second-generation Andretti winner today. Of course, Mario won the Daytona 500 back then, and he was in a Ford Fairlane when he did it.
They told me Cale Yarborough was on his transporter watching this race. Somebody better hold him. He might jump off. Sterling Marlin. Here's a battle for fifth spot. He's got Terry Labonte with him.
They're going to try to draft on by Dick Trickle, and looks like they're going to get the job done. Trickle pretty much hung out by himself on the top side.
He comes back strong because he's following Mark Martin.
9 laps to go in the Pepsi 400. A car link separates Andretti and Earnhardt. Now Marlin gets a little bit of drafting help down below from Jimmy Spencer.
And meanwhile, the 5 car goes on the outside, helps Trickle by, and Sterling squeezes in the spot.
How about Dale Earnhardt trying to break that 42-race drought? And how about Dale Jarrett, who has won here 3 times?
John Andretti has had an awfully fast race car. I think someone is going to have to help Earnhardt right now. And look at Dick Trickle moves up into the 4th spot, and Mark Martin's drifting back. The guy who would take the points lead if the race ended a little bit ago. spots right now.
As a matter of fact, if points were awarded right now, Jeff Gordon would have the points lead by just 2 over Mark Martin. So these last few laps are very important for Mark Martin. Jeff Gordon continues to run in 34th position, and Dale Jarrett has won twice here at Daytona, not 3 times. There's looking back from Mark Martin to Ward Burton.
For Dick Trickle.
Several drivers have had tremendous runs here today, including Trickle and Michael Waltrip and Ward Burton.
Dale Jarrett took a look on the inside of it. And what? Look here. Look here.
Dale Earnhardt going for the lead. Let's see if he gets some grounding help up there.
You know Dick Trickle's going to go with him. Oh! And Jarrett had to squeeze back in that spot in Sterling Marlin, trying to take 4th away.
He goes to the bottom of the racetrack, and he tries to take the spot away from Trickle, and he does it.
He tried that a moment ago, tearing the body with the Trickle on the high side of the racetrack, and moved Sterling Marlin back. They're all watching TV. Hey, guys.
Dang it. How you doing all you can do?
And Sterling once again loses that spot to Trickle and Terry Labonte.
Meanwhile, there are less than 6 laps to go. Trickle looks up high on Dale Jarrett in the battle for 3rd position in turn 2.
Play all around.
Rusty Wallace is back there running in the top 10. Here's Larry McReynolds as they talk race strategy and watch the final few laps of this race. There's Marlin going to the low side of Trickle in the battle for 4th.
Behind him.
He now has that 4th spot. What a run by Sterling Marlin. Sterling Marlin had a flat tire early in the race. And now back for the lead. Here comes Earnhardt trying to take a look.
5 laps to go. Garrett hits high from Dale Earnhardt trying to take over 2nd position. He's out there all by himself. And there's a crash in turn 1. There's a crash in turn 1. Several cars involved.
And Michael Waltrip involved with Morgan Shepherd, Ricky Rudd. This could be the battle for the victory.
Indeed it is. There will only be 4 laps to go when they come down. So this race could end under caution. Let's see what happens as the leaders head through corners number 3 and 4. John Andretti holds them off for the moment. Let's see if Earnhardt and Dale Jarrett and Sterling Marlin have anything for him. Andretti comes down, takes the caution flag, and that could be the end of the race. At least the RCA crew thinks so, and I would imagine so also because we have 3 or 4 cars that have been damaged and sitting at the bottom of the racetrack in turn 1. You can see the skid marks that go directly into the wall.
But I tell you, NASCAR, we see Hutch Strickland's Circuit City car, some pretty heavy damage to that car. But NASCAR already has all the equipment with it. There's records out there. They're trying to clean this mess up as quick as possible. The Daytona 500, remember, same situation.
Yep. There's Morgan Shepherd limping back. Ricky Rudd has climbed out of his very badly damaged race car and is sitting on the ground. And let's take a look at what happened, Benny.
Ever see Ricky Rudd just gets the car loose, goes down in the corner, goes up the racetrack, and the 21 car is going to make contact in the left front. The 77 car is coming along. He and Hutch Strickland make contact. That's where Hutch got the damage to the Circuit City car.
Now the onboard camera from Michael Waltrip.
Following Robbie Gordon down in the corner.
Can't see a thing when it happens in front of you, can you?
We'll see Michael's okay because he's still steering. It's torn all to pieces, but he's still steering.
Hutch Strickland is out of the car. He's a little shaken and is walking to the ambulance. Michael Waltrip is out of his car, and we saw Ricky Rudd sitting on the grass. Here's another replay from a different angle.
And we see Ricky Rudd and Michael Waltrip. And we see Hutch Strickland and Morgan Shepherd going up and banging off the wall. First time we've seen that kind of contact.
Yeah, they both had pretty significant contact with the wall. Once again, you'll see.
This is right behind the leader. Never seen Ernie. And all of a sudden, the 10 car decided he was going on the outside of Ernie Irvin to get by and just simply lost control.
So we have now less than 3 laps to go. The question is, will they get the track clear, and will we have a green flag finish of the Pepsi 400?
Good fries. I can't believe.
Back at Daytona, we are being told they're going to run 1 lap of green. It's going to come out momentarily. Let's check with Tony Furr right quick. Tony, they're going to go back to green. Can you hang on?
I know we can hang on. There ain't no doubt in my mind. That Ford is fast today.
All right, Tony Furr, the crew chief. We'll see if the driver agrees, and possibly the guy right behind him has to be awfully hungry.
Signal's being given. 1 lap to go to green. It will be 1:59 when they come by. It will be the green and white.
So, Benny, what are you thinking about if you're John Andretti? Don't miss a shift.
Don't miss a shift.
Don't do a lot of other things.
Exactly. Remember Jeff Gordon at Pocono last year, or the year before last, missing that shift?
And what are you thinking if you're Dale Earnhardt, who is that close to ending this winless streak and has a chance at victory here?
When can I, if you're Earnhardt, you're thinking, when can I hit the gasoline and not be penalized by NASCAR?
Right. So do you lay back maybe a little bit and hit the throttle early and don't pass before you get to the line?
That's probably what he'll do, is lay back and get a really good run on John Andretti and have a head of steam when he get by that start-finish line to try to get by. Jerry Punch?
Tony Furr just told John, he said, start it slow. Remember, you've got a lot better acceleration than the 3. Don't give him momentum. Start slow and then jump in the throttle because you can out-drag the 3 on the restart.
Okay, we're a half a lap from seeing how things play out here and what happens when the green flag drops. Will John Andretti win his first NASCAR Winston Cup event, or will Dale Earnhardt get back in victory lane, or will we see people like Dale Jarrett, Sterling Marlin, or maybe even Terry Labonte, who's running 5th, win this race? It is anybody's race in this final lap. Remember, with the restrictor plates, they're not going to be nearly up to speed, even when they cross the line for the checkered flag.
Yeah, they'll probably run average about 120, 25 miles per hour this last lap.
There's Larry McReynolds. Communication with his driver, Dale Earnhardt. What a great way to start or end the first half of the season. And
watch Earnhardt. He's several car lengths behind John Andretti.
Laying back.
He's laying back.
Sure.
Now Andretti's going to stop and wait for Earnhart to catch him. Pretty good move by John Andretti.
All kinds of things being played out here as Andretti is bringing him down very, very slowly. It's up to him to set the pace. He can begin to accelerate whenever he wants to. And now he picks up the throttle as the white and green flags come out. We've got 2.5 miles to go. And Dale Jarrett is right on the back bumper of Dale Earnhardt, almost making contact with him. Let's see how things play out as we enter the final lap. Jarrett looking toward the bottom of the racetrack, trying to get second place from Dale Earnhardt, and he may have it here. Jarrett has a half a car length on Earnhardt, and all this helps John Andretti.
And Sterling Marlin.
Look at Sterling Marlin. He'll make it 3 wide down the backstretch as they shuffle for position. There's Terry Labonte up on the high side of the racetrack, and Ward Burton is down in the grass as he tries to pick up position. Oh, there's a crash. Trickle and Burton. Damn it. Come on. Mark Martin. Let's see who wins this race.
Here we come off the line.
It's going to be John Andretti winning and Terry Labonte finishing second. The battle for third goes to Sterling Marlin with Earnhardt fourth and Jarrett fifth. But our concern is at the other end of the racetrack for the cars that have been damaged and whether we may have injury in that massive accident that took place on the final lap in turns 3 and 4. John Andretti won his first IndyCar race at the Gold Coast Grand Prix in Australia in 1991. And on July 4th weekend of 1997, John Andretti wins his first Winston Cup race. Jerry?
Well, Tony Furr, you made the call. Indeed, you guys hung on. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's exactly the way I wanted to win it. I wanted to win it under green. That's my first Winston Cup victory. John, the Cale Yarborough is a car owner, and it couldn't happen in a better place at Daytona.
All right, Tony Furr, the crew chief, will go to victory lane. His voice is trembling. He has sunglasses on. You can't see, but the young man is shaking. What a great way for John Andretti to get his first win 30 years after Uncle Mario won the Daytona 500 right here.
Derek Cope is out of his car.
And Mark Martin is trying to move his car. Here we go. We see Ward Burton down in the grass. They're actually 4 abreast trying to go in the corner. Mark Martin and the 90 car are going to make contact, also the 22. The 2 cars able to get by. Kyle Petty's able to get by. But watch Derek Cope. He's going to come in here and just plow into the 6 car.
And so that's how the Pepsi 400 ended as John Andretti won. John Andretti celebrates his first victory in NASCAR Winston Cup competition. It's pretty special because many crew members from many teams went out and congratulated him. Well, Ward Burton is the driver that we are most concerned about. There you can see Mark Martin and Jeff Burton as they are looking down at Ward, who obviously was injured during that last lap crash. And let's take a look at it once again.
There we see, there they are, the 22 car, the 90 car. And this is going down the backstretch. Here we see the 22 and the 88. Now Mark Martin's going to dive in there, and they're going in the corner about 3 abreast. But all of a sudden, Dick Trickle comes down, makes contact with Mark Martin. He has to go down. He hits the 22 in the right rear and just drives that Pontiac head on into the outside retaining wall. And Mark Martin's going to come down and get plowed into by, I guess, Derek Cope right there.
Yeah.
No, he hit the 22 car, and it's the 43 that did the damage to the 6 car.
Yeah, he hit him in the driver's side, and that's, I'm sure, what has resulted in the injury to Ward Burton. Well, in any case, John Andretti has come home a winner here, and our McDonald's Winner's Circle interview comes from Jerry Punch.
In our McDonald's drive-through winner's circle, do you think John Andretti is going to enjoy this? Here's Nancy and Jarrett and Olivia. They're getting congratulations from the crew. Nancy is here. Here is Jarrett and Olivia. Come on in, Olivia. Get a hold of your dad. John, congratulations on an outstanding effort today.
Oh, thanks. I mean, you know, I've been saying that this team is the best, especially when restrictor play racing comes, and we've been saying it, and now today we proved it, and I'm just... Anybody could have driven the car. I feel great about what these guys have done. I mean, I'd like to thank RCA, you know, Goodyear, Ford, and all the people that have been involved. I mean, Cale Yarborough, you know, put a lot of faith in me, and you know, there's been a lot of talk and things going on, but today we came through and got the first win for Cale Yarborough Motorsports, and it feels great.
How about those last few laps? The restart. Did you think the race would get restarted, number one? And if it did, you knew that you could hang on?
Well, I figured this car accelerates really hard on the restarts, and I just figured that if we had to restart that we'd be in pretty good shape. And then Dale Jarrett started racing Dale Earnhardt, and I said, man, this is ours. And I looked at the fourth turn, and here comes Terry Labonte. So, you know, I'm real happy the race got over with because I think he'd have got me the next lap.
All right, John Andretti, the 8th different winner in 1997, the second first-time winner of the year. He joins Jeff Burton getting his first Winston Cup victory. The Andretti celebrating here in Victory Lane.
John's first career win in his 110th start, and Cale's first win as a car owner in his 293rd race. Let's take a look at the incident that we had in the third turn from Mark Martin's onboard camera.
There we see Dick Trickle come down, makes contact, and camera keeps on riding, but it's going to get a heavy blow. There's the blow.
Back in a moment.
What do you get?
Stay tuned, because coming up next, Shop Talk featuring Ricky Craven and Ray Evernham. And another member of the Hendrick team finished second in today's race, Terry Labonte. Here's John Kernan.
You started way far in the back. You wind up second. How'd you do it?
Way far in the back, yeah. You know, we were pretty far back, and I'll tell you what, it was kind of a struggle all day for us, and there for a while I didn't know if we could even get to the top 10, and had some problems on pit road. I hit a tire once, I killed the engine twice, overshot my pits once on a green flag stop, and I'll tell you what, we were lucky. You know, we worked our way to the top 5 there, and then on that last start, I I was thinking, I was kind of hoping, I said, maybe they won't go back to green. I'll have a 5th place finish. And then we got a good run of those guys, got by 3 of them and wound up second. So it was a good run for our Kellogg Chevy today. It was a good day in the points race for us, so we couldn't be happier.
Second place finish for Terry Labonte back upstairs.
And he moves back into second place in the point standings due to that crash there on the last lap. Mark Martin falls back to third. Jeff Gordon retains the points lead. We'll have more in just a moment.
And we welcome you back to the Daytona International Speedway, where John Andretti has picked up his first career NASCAR Winston Cup win. A vicious wreck on the final lap. And we'll take a look at that. And I'm standing with Dick Trickle outside the infield care center. First of all, Dick, your view of what happened.
Well, you know, it was a normal shootout. You know, 1 lap to go. Everybody spreads 4 and 5 wide. You know, which that can happen. And somebody's going to win, somebody's going to get 5th. But you know why they got to run each other over and lose it? It's kind of dumb because somebody else might win and somebody else might get 5th. But the Heilig-Meyer car and, you know, Beauty Rest Mattress people have been just doing a super job for me. You know, my engine builder and engine tuner, they got the motor running down that backstretch. I'll tell you what. You know, we had a car that right there at the end we were running for 5th, you know, around 5th, and I took the outside line going into the trees, figured that was going to be the line. Earnhardt would be ahead of me, and coming down off of 4 to the line, I figured that was going to be the quick one, and I think we were shooting for top 3 there if we could have just made it to the end. But we get collected up in somebody else's mess again.
Okay, that's Dick Trickle, very disappointed with the finish here at Daytona. Shop Talk coming up next here on ESPN. We'll be back with more from the Daytona International Speedway in just a moment. John Andretti with a 4th of July weekend he'll never forget.
Well, the crowd begins to file out here of Daytona as the Pepsi 400 is history. There are the unofficial results. The yellow arrows mean those who led a lap, and the double yellow arrows indicate that the winner, John Andretti, led the most laps.
There we see some cars. Ward Burton involved. Mark Martin, both cars led laps today. Also Elliott, Michael Waltrip, and Mike Skinner.
And because of that last lap crash, the points really shuffled out here. Jeff Gordon retains the points lead over Terry Labonte by 54. Then Mark Martin, Dale Jarrett, and Dale Earnhardt moves up 1 to the 5th place. This is the big wreck on the very last lap of the race that took several cars out. And Ward Burton was being treated and is in the infield medical center. We'll have more information on that on RPM today, tomorrow. And don't forget, NASCAR Today next week. We'll see you. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.